Hi everyone. I have had a lot of people ask me how I made this card, and they wanted a video, so I was going to show you how I went ahead and did this card. Alright, so basically it's actually pretty simple. It's not as complicated as you might think. All I basically did was I took a piece of paper and I folded it, and then I added a little swatch of repositionable tape to the inside there so the paper wouldn't move around too much. And then what I did was, I'm going to move this so you can see it. I took my two templates, and you can do any templates you want. It's entirely up to you. I just happened to do the hearts, and I positioned them in, whichever way you want to have them show through. And then all you do is, like I said, just position them here like this, and then hold them all together. And then you trace the outside lines, and you stop where they meet, and you trace the second template. And I know my hands are in the way. Sorry, I'll show you when it's all said and done how it looks. Okay, so it looks like that when you're done with the first trace. And then what you want to do is you want to go back in, set it back on top, and then you want to trace that inside piece. The inside piece is basically going to be whatever on the template you want to cut out. Now, in this instance, the heart from the inside here kind of overlaps into this heart. As you can see in mine, I have that there. So I want that little overlap to show because I want to get a little bit of dimension there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trace that part, and then I'm going to stop when I meet it back up again. So there you can see there's the outline of the entire piece. And then what I went ahead and did, and I'm going to have to do it on camera really quickly because I didn't prepare a piece ahead of time, so sorry, is I went ahead and I'll just cut it like I would cut any other of my regular templates, holding both papers as tightly as I possibly can. Okay, and you'll notice I'm not trying to turn my scissors. It's kind of a futile effort, especially if you're going through two pages at the same time, to try and turn your scissors on these angles. So what I do is I tend to come in from the different sides. Like even right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in from this side, and then I'm going to get to the point. This is a small little angle, so I can actually do that one. And then I come down in, and then I hit that joint. And then I do that. And then I'll pick this curve right back up. Okay, now again, I don't want to twist that one. I'm going to come from the other side. And I know it looks a little bit awkward, but when I'm doing this, and I've done this, and I've used this technique for so long, that spinning it around like that is really second nature to me now. And no, this is not My Fair Lady, so if that song just popped into your head, I'm really sorry. Anyhow, so again, this is together. Now, I have this just with temporary adhesive, okay? So with this temporary adhesive, it's from Hermafix. It's a little dot runner. There's a bunch of different brands out there. I prefer Hermafix. You just rub those little dots off and they come right off. The reason why after you cut it like this, you want to go ahead and separate them is we want to get this centerpiece out. And the way that I got the centerpiece out was I took an X-Acto knife and I just very carefully and slowly went in with my blade. And again, I'm turning the piece. If I had a glass media mat, this would be very, very easy and much quicker, and I could actually just spin everything with no problems. But because this is a self-healing mat, it's not going to spin as nicely for me. So I'm just going to take my time, and I'm probably out of camera, sorry. And I'm going to rotate this very slightly, very gently as I'm moving, and I'm going to kind of twist my X-Acto blade around as I'm doing that as well, and then reposition, and then bring it through. And if it didn't get all the parts and pieces that I need, I'll just go back over with my X-Acto knife, but I think I got a pretty good job. So you see there, and then if there's a little bit more that you want to take out here, or if there's stuff, an area you want to clean up, go ahead and clean that up. I mean, however good you do it, however bad you do it, it's entirely up to you. And I say bad. Some people don't like X-Acto blades and trying to do that. Some people don't like scissors, and you get those little wonky edges. Those edges are easy to fix. They're easy to fix with a nail file. They're easy to fix with another little blade cut, another little motion, or whatever else, and just, fix it up. It's not that big of a deal. And if it's not perfect, or if you can't fix it, or if you can't fix it to your satisfaction, then take one of the pieces you've cut, overlay it on top of it again, and voila, you've got a problem solved. You're never going to notice that that corner was wonky. Okay, no one will ever know, I promise. Another thing that hides that very, very well, of course, is the distress inks. Now, on this piece right here, I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to do this real quick so you can kind of see what I did. When I go ahead and if I'm, oops, see, I messed that one up really badly, but that's okay. This is a demo piece. I'm trying to go too fast. That's what happened. When I'm doing dimensional pieces and I'm trying to get depth without using an additional piece of paper or an additional layer, then one of the things that I will do is I will ink, and I will ink the illusion of a layer. So what I'll do is I'll take my pencil and I'll highlight wherever that line is. I'll just kind of really gently make that line. And then whichever ink that I'm using, what I'll do is when I ink it up, instead of just pushing down this one, I kind of roll it around a little bit so that I can get ink towards the edges of my dauber, because I like to use those edges. What I'll do, and I know it's so hard to see this sometimes, but I'll try and bring it up as best I can into the light. I take the edge of this dauber and I try and follow along where that line is, and I'll hit it real hard so that it can get a lot of depth in there and it can get a lot of shading. Okay, so what that does is that gives the illusion that there's a big shadowed area back here. Okay, and then you'll shadow this out here, and you'll do your normal inking and everything and get these edges nice and crisp. Okay, so that is a really good way to create that depth and dimension. If you get too much ink there, again, these are Tim Holtz, they're water reactive. So if you take a water brush, you can lighten that up just like you would a watercolor. You'd lighten up that ink and then get that darkness back into that corner really well. So just another tip and technique on how you can do this. Another way that you could very easily layer this and make it look really cute is take a different color of paper even. And I'm just throwing this one in there. Give me that. I do most of my videos on the fly, guys, so if it gets too long or I get too talkative, I'm sorry. I tend to just kind of go with the flow so you can kind of see where all of my processes and everything else go. So, okay. So again, here's just another color just to add a little bit of oomph. And again, if you'll notice too, I'm moving my paper. I'm not moving my scissors. The reason is if you move your scissors, that's when you get those really kind of angled cuts. Whereas if you move your paper, you're going to get a much, much smoother cut. Okay. So again here, then what you can do as well, if you want to add a little bit more depth, texture, or anything else, you can layer a whole nother piece onto there. That's entirely up to you. But basically this is what you have. You have a top layer and you have a bottom layer. They're cut exactly the same. And then what I did was I took, you cannot find this anymore, I'm really sorry. This was Recollections a long time ago. It was a clear craft plastic thing, and basically what it is it's a whole sheet, a book-like sheet of this plastic. And you can't buy this anymore, but you can buy clear transparencies at Staples or wherever else. They will work exactly the same as this. I just happen to have this on hand. Really awesome stuff. Anyways, what I basically do is I just cut a square of that, and I cut another of the entire template right here out of the clear plastic, and then I glue this piece and the clear plastic together, and then using this piece I'll flip it over, and then here I'll line this with my pop-ups. Now everybody uses different pop-ups. I totally get it. Stampin' Up! Makes a really cool, really small pop dot, which is really great for this. But the drawback to using these is they are a hexagon, so you kind of gotta, piecemeal them all together if you want to get a straight line and a really tight seal. The reason why that kind of is important is if you use glitter in your shakers, if you don't have a fully sealed edge around this outside, that glitter is going to go everywhere. Same thing if you use the micro beads or if you use glass beads or anything else like that, it's going to go everywhere. I just use sequins, and the sequins are really big, so I didn't need to worry, and you can kind of see, I didn't need to worry about making sure that everything touched. I could have little tiny gaps. And then what I also did was, because I'm using red, I couldn't get in there with my ink pad and I couldn't get in there with my dauber. So I just took a Sharpie. Once I put these onto this sheet, I just took a Sharpie around the edge and I like colored all the edges of the pop dots so that they were kind of pink, so you didn't notice them as much and they weren't standing out saying, "Hi, I'm white, I'm here." So that's all I did there. Anyways, so that's all you gotta do. And then once you get the pop dots down on there, you just take all the backings off. You're actually gonna work from the back here, and you're gonna put in, and you're gonna fill in all of your little sequins into the areas, because this is gonna have plastic on top. And then you're gonna take off all your adhesive, then you're just gonna lay this right on top of that, smack it all down together, and then voila, you're gonna have a shaker. It isn't that hard, y'all. It really isn't. If you have the 3M tape, that stuff is wicked cool for this. It'll go a long way. If you have the sheets of, oh gosh, what's that stuff called? The Fun Foam. I thought I had a pack of it here somewhere, but I guess I don't. If you use that Fun Foam stuff, that stuff's really foamy. Again, same exact concept. You can just trace your design on the outside of that, cut around the outside, and then just cut on the inside however much out of that you want, and then glue that to this back piece, and then glue that to this piece. And that will work for you too. Fun Foam is actually really cool to use in that capacity. If you have dies, dies will cut through Fun Foam really well for that, if you're using dies. This is just how I did it with the Kiwi Lane templates, to show you just another way that you can use Kiwi Lane templates. But again, this is really versatile with dies. You can do it with dies. You can do it with almost anything that's out there. You can do it with your Cricut cuts and anything else. These are those micro beads that some people like putting in theirs. These are really cool. I like that. I don't like glitter because glitter for me gets everywhere. But so I don't use it very much. But anyways, that's as simple as it is. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching. Bye!